Taylor Swift might have the most passionate and dedicated fans of any artist in the world. No one is as passionate as Swifties are, who know seemingly everything there's ever to know about Taylor Swift. Everything from her life to relationships, her family, dating life, and music. Swifties can even break down Taylor's subliminal messaging in her concerts, her outfits, and social media posts to decipher what Easter egg she's hinting at. But there are still so many shocking things about Taylor Swift that not even all Swifties know. And in this video, we're going to look at 13 of the most shocking Taylor Swift facts that you might not even know. And if you're a true Swiftie, you already know why we're doing only 13 facts, and I'll save the explanation for the end. But before we get into it, please support the channel by liking and subscribing. It really does make a big difference. Now let's get into it. Starting at number 1. Did you know that when Taylor was born, her parents wanted her to have a gender-neutral name, and that's why her name is Taylor. When Taylor Swift was born in 1989, her parents on purpose chose to give her a name that was gender-neutral. Her parents, Andrea and Scott Swift, they both worked in finance, and they believed that having a gender-neutral name would prevent bias when her daughter was applying for jobs later in her life. Taylor Swift told the Rolling Stone, quote, "My mom thought it was cool that if you got a business card that said Taylor, you wouldn't know if I was a guy or a girl. She wanted me to be a business person in the business world." And coincidentally enough, 1989, the year that Taylor Swift was born, was the first year ever that Taylor was in the top 100 list for both boys and girls' names. It was about as gender-neutral a name as you could find at the time. But obviously, Taylor Swift didn't end up working in finance or accounting or business. She simply became one of the biggest artists in the world. Coming in at number 2, Taylor Swift actually grew up on a Christmas tree farm. When most people tell you that they grew up on a Christmas tree farm, you might tilt your head. You probably wouldn't believe it. But Taylor Swift did in fact grow up on a Christmas tree farm. And in her words, in a gingerbread house, deep within the yummy gummy gumdrop forest. And her song Christmas Tree Farm is all about that. Taylor Swift did in fact grow up on an 11-acre Christmas tree farm in Pennsylvania, where she's from. And it was a massive part of her childhood. Her father, Scott, bought the farm and operated it when he wasn't working at his finance day job for Merrill Lynch. And the experience was so special to Taylor that she wrote a song about it. And that's exactly why Christmas is so special to Taylor. She's even said herself that it's her most anticipated holiday. She loves the spirit and everything about it. And Taylor has even said that when Christmas ends, she already starts the countdown to see how long it is until the next Christmas. Taylor Swift's family ultimately moved to Nashville when she was 14 years old so that she could pursue her dreams of becoming a country music artist. But up until then, she did in fact grow up on a Christmas tree farm. And that brings us to Taylor Swift's cool talent. Taylor Swift was once asked to reveal one of her coolest talents, something unique that most people don't know about her, something that she can do that others can't. She revealed simply that she has double jointed elbows.
Okay, I'm well aware that this is not a talent, but this is like the only thing that I can do. I have double jointed elbows, so.
No. Oh man.
Yeah, they're weird.
They're a little bit weird.
Yeah.
What's next on the list is Taylor Swift's love story, which she wrote in 20 minutes on her bedroom floor. Taylor Swift's love story is one of her all-time biggest hits that she released in 2008. Her Romeo and Juliet inspired love story, which fans have speculated that was about Joe Jonas, who she did in 2008. But the craziest part of this song is that Taylor revealed in an interview that it took her only 20 minutes to write, and she did it on her bedroom floor. If that's not talent, I don't know what is. Next up on the list is the fact that Taylor Swift once invited fans to her house and baked cookies for them. This is one of my favorite things about Taylor Swift. She once invited hundreds of her biggest fans to come hang out with her in her own house, play with her cats, and eat her home-baked cookies, and gave them an opportunity to hear her new album a month before anyone else. In the anticipation of Taylor's 1989 album, she held a series of what she called 1989 secret sessions for a few weeks before the release of her album, and it was being held at her various different homes across the country. Carefully selected fans were told they were attending some sort of secret event, and no one had any idea what was in store for them. Little did those Swifties know that they would be rewarded with an opportunity to hear Taylor's album before anyone else, in her own home, hanging out with her and eating her cookies. One of the coolest things any artist has ever done for their fans. Next up on the list is Taylor Swift's biggest fear. Most people are terrified of things like spiders, rats, extreme heights, flying, public speaking. But Taylor Swift's fear is unlike any you've ever heard, I can promise that. Taylor Swift told Ellen that what she's terrified isn't any of those things. It's actually sea urchins. Here is Taylor in her own words explaining her biggest fear.
Let's talk about your fear of sea urchins.
Don't even sea urchins.
No, come on.
I can't.
You're actually serious about this.
I'm
Do you know what a sea urchin
physically
is? Do
affected.
you know what they are?
If
They're-
you knew what sea urchins were, you would be terrified.
Well,
of them.
listen. They're just they're on rocks and they're spiny looking. And the poor things are just minding their own business.
No, they're not. They're not. That's the thing. They're like a grenade.
And that brings us to Taylor Swift's cats, who are all named after fictional characters. Taylor Swift is a proud cat mom, and she has 3 who she openly adores: Meredith Grey, Olivia Benson, and Benjamin Button. Taylor's never been shy about making her cats part of her personality, and Swifties adore her for it. Her cats frequently appear on her social media accounts, and even in her music videos. They even featured on her holiday card in 2020. Taylor's cats have even influenced her career. In 2019, Taylor told Time magazine, quote, "I have cats. I'm obsessed with them. I love my cats so much that when a role came up in a movie called Cats, I just thought, like, I gotta do this." In fact, Taylor Swift even attended a cat school on set to prepare for her role. Taylor Swift's first famous cat is named Meredith Grey, who she named after Meredith Grey of Grey's Anatomy. Meredith has made several appearances all over her social media and is even her own star. In Deadpool 2, Meredith Grey appears on a t-shirt that Ryan Reynolds' character wears in the film, alongside Olivia Benson. Taylor brought home her second cat in 2014, Olivia Benson, who she named after another TV character, her favorite character on Law & Order SVU. Olivia Benson once joined Taylor Swift in a Diet Coke ad. In the clip, Taylor plays with the cat while she drinks a can of soda, but every time she takes a sip, more cats appear to surround Olivia. And finally, Taylor Swift got her third cat, Benjamin Button, in 2019, and obviously, while keeping up with the tradition, she named him after a fictional character that she loved, Brad Pitt's Benjamin Button. But this cat has an awesome adoption story. The kitten's sweet adoption story started when Taylor Swift met him on the set of the music video for Me. Benjamin starred in the video alongside Meredith and Olivia. Although Taylor wasn't exactly his cat mom just yet, Taylor took Benjamin home after the video shoot, saying he was just a cute kitten who didn't have a home. When the handler asked Swift if she wanted to hold the cat before their scene, she said she knew then he would be coming home with her. Taylor said, quote, "She handed me this tiny cat and he just starts purring, and he looks at me like, 'You're my mom and we're going to live together.' I fell in love." Taylor looked at Brendan and he's like, "You're going to get the cat, aren't you?" And in 2013, Benjamin joined Taylor on the cover of Time as he gracefully rested on her shoulders. And that conveniently brings us to the next shocking fact about Taylor Swift. And we're still going to stay on the topic of her cats. It was reported that Taylor Swift's cat has a higher net worth than her boyfriend Travis Kelce. It's true. Taylor's cat, Olivia Benson, has a net worth estimated of $97 million, making the feline one of the richest cats in the entire world, while Travis Kelce has a net worth of around $40 million. Why is that? Well, that's because Taylor's cat, Olivia Benson, has his own merchandise line and has made cameo appearances in high-profile advertisements, including with brands such as Diet Coke and Ned Sneakers. Even Taylor Swift's cats are worth millions. Moving on to Taylor Swift's Eras Tour and the records it broke. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour became the highest-grossing music tour ever, becoming the first to surpass $1 billion in revenue. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, it broke the record set by Elton John's 5-year farewell tour. But the craziest part is, we're still not done with the Eras Tour. We still have 1 whole year to go. The Eras Tour began in March 2023 and will end in December 2024, so that number is going to even go higher. The Eras Tour was so popular in 2023 that it earned more than the next 2 highest grossing tours combined that year, Beyonce's and Bruce Springsteen's. And according to Polestar, 4.3 million tickets have been sold to date, and at this trajectory, the tour could realistically rake in over $2 billion of revenue if all the remaining scheduled shows are played. Did you know that when Taylor Swift was 11 years old, she performed at a Philadelphia 76ers game and sang the Star-Spangled Banner? When Taylor was 11 years old, she was at a Sixers game performing in front of a packed stadium, performing the Star-Spangled Banner in 2002. Even when Taylor was just 11 years old, she was already incredibly talented, performing in front of tens of thousands of people. This might even be the first time she's ever performed in front of a crowd that big. And even when she was only 11 years old, you can still tell how incredibly talented she was at such a young age. And it was no wonder why her family chose to move to Nashville. Take a listen to her voice when she was only 11. Taylor Swift also doesn't get enough credit for how talented she is. Taylor Swift is a talented musician, artist, and songwriter, but she can also play the guitar, piano, ukulele, electric guitar, and banjo, and she's also a talented painter, one of the most talented artists we've ever seen. Did you know that Taylor Swift also voice acted the character of Audrey in The Lorax? In 2012, Taylor Swift voiced over Audrey in the film Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. When asked about it, she talked about how difficult and different it is to her everyday life, saying, quote, "It's a completely different space that you go into your head. It's very different from when you're singing songs that you wrote. With this, you're sitting there in a booth by yourself, having conversations with no one." And obviously, Taylor did a great job. Just look at her crushing in the studio.
Photosynthesis. What I want more than anything in the whole world is to see a real living tree.
In finally, number 13. And it's always all about the number 13 for Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift loves the number 13 since the very beginning of her music career. And Swifties already know this, but if you don't, here's why that number is so special to Taylor. To begin, Taylor was born on December 13th, 1989, making her a Sagittarius. And once she decided to pursue a music career, she began using the number 13 in cryptic ways. For instance, her song The Lucky One is the 13th track on her 2021 album Red, Taylor's version. And the tune also has a 13-second outro, and the word lucky is said 13 times in the song. But why exactly is it her lucky number? In a 2009 interview with MTV, Taylor revealed that she paints the number 13 on her hand before every show because 13 is her lucky number for a lot of reasons. Taylor said, quote, "I was born on the 13th. I turned 13 on Friday the 13th. My first album went gold in 13 weeks. My first #1 song had a 13-second intro every time I've won an award. Every time I've won an award, I've been seated in either the 13th seat, the 13th row, the 13th section, or row M, which is the 13th letter. While it may be superstitious for some, the number 13 has not failed Taylor Swift just yet. That's why when Taylor Swift released her 2 albums, Folklore and Evermore, in the same year she turned 31, she made sure that one album had 16 songs, while the other had 15 to equal 31 tracks in total, which is 13 backwards. In December 2020, Taylor Swift said, quote, "Ever since I was 13, I've been excited about turning 31 because it's my lucky number backwards, which is why I wanted to surprise you with this now." And that's why the number 13 is so special to Taylor. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe because it really does help out the channel. Thank you for watching and see you next time.